Okay, so today guys, I'm going to install a Windows 11 operating system for my virtual machine. I'm going to show it to you how to do it. You can just follow the instruction. I'm going to make it as fast, as simple as possible. So the very first thing you need to do is first open your VMware. It's right here. Now just click on create a new virtual machine. Click on this installer disk image file. Click browse. You can look for the file, the ISO file for the installer. I'm going to install Windows 11, so here it is. And then just select that and then click open. So the link will show up here, and now you can click next. It will give you a chance to name your virtual machine. So in this case, I'm just going to leave it as Windows 11 x64, and then the file location where the virtual machine will be saved. And you can always access and copy that and then move it to a different computer in case you're moving the virtual machine to another host. And then click next. In this part right here, it's going to ask you to create a password. So just to encrypt the virtual machine. So I'm just going to make an easier password here, so it's easier for me to remember. And you can just leave the remember credentials or remember the password on this machine in the credential manager, and then click next. Now the maximum size is currently 64 gig. I will just leave it like that. That's more than enough for the Windows 11. But if you want to increase it, you can set it to 100 or whatever you want. Also on this part right here, I'd select store virtual disk on a single file and then click next. So on this window right here, it's going to give you the summary of your virtual machine, the name of the virtual machine, the file location, the version of your virtual machine, which is workstation 17.5 for me. This is the latest version as of this moment. The operating system, Windows 11 64. Hard disk is 64 gig. Memory is 4096 MB. Network adapter is NAT or network address translation. And then other devices, there's 2 CPU cores, CD, DVD, USB controller, and sound card. And then I'll leave this check right here, power on the virtual machine after creation. So just leave it check and then click finish. Now it's going to start to generate the virtual machine and allocate the file size that you've created. So now the virtual machine is loading. You see this black screen right here. Just tap space on your keyboard. So it's going to load the Windows installation setup. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to minimize this a little bit so I can show it to you here. Okay, so in this part right here, it's going to give you an option to select a language to install. So I'm just going to leave it at English. And the time and currency format is US. Keyboard format is US. So I don't change anything on this part right here. Now you can click next. And then click install now. I don't have a product key, so I select this and then click next. Now it's going to give you an option for which operating system you want to install. So I'll leave it at Windows 11 Pro and then click next. And then this is a user license agreement. Just click I accept, or if you want to read it, you can. But yeah, just click accept and click next. Now this is the option that you usually get confused of. So I usually select custom and then I select the disk. If you want to format it, you can click format or delete it. But in this case, this is unallocated space for the drive that we've created. So there's nothing on it. So we'll just select that and then click next. Now this is exactly the same as installing on a new computer or formatting an old computer. Everything you see here, you can follow it if you're going to format the computer. So let's just wait for the installation to finish. And then once it's done, I'm going to show you what to do next. But we're about 80% done. Okay, so it looks like it finished installing Windows 11. We're just going to do some of those finishing touches to complete the setup. The very first thing it asks for Windows 11 is it's going to ask for a country or region. So it's the same with Windows 10 actually. So just select whichever region you're from. I'm going to set it to Canada. And then it's going to ask for the keyboard layout. So I'll just leave it at US. Click yes. And you want to add a second keyboard layout. I'd skip this part. And it's gonna start checking for a Windows update. So we'll just have to wait for it to finish. So by the way, for Windows 11, they will always require you to create a Microsoft account. Be sure you have a Microsoft account, or it will give you an option also later on to create a Microsoft account. So Microsoft account is those email address that ends with at outlook.com or hotmail.com. If you have any of those kinds of email, then you can use that to complete the setup of Windows 11. Okay, in this part right here, it's gonna ask us to name the device. It should be at least, or it should be the maximum. It should have a maximum of 15 characters. So you can just name it Win11 VM. So just you can fit the 15 characters on the name, and then click next. So just a moment. Now the VM is restarting again, and it's now loading the operating system. Okay, now it's gonna ask us to select a profile type. We'll just set it to set up for personal use, and then click next. So this is what I'm talking about. It's gonna ask you to sign in for a Microsoft account. So just click sign in and then enter your Microsoft account. So I have a dummy Microsoft account here, so that's what I'm gonna use. Okay, so after logging in with your Microsoft account, this is what you will see. You'll be given an option to restore from this PC, but what I usually do, since this is like a new installation for this virtual machine, is I'm just going to scroll down and then click more options here and then set up as new PC. Now it's going to ask you to create a PIN, so usually I just use 4-digit PIN and just click OK. So let Microsoft and apps use your location. So if given an option to click no, I always click no. So I'm just gonna click no here, click no. Anyway, these are not essential for the computer to run. So I'll always like click no if I have an option to click no. Also, this send diagnostic data to Microsoft, I only click required only. So if it's not required, then I don't want my computer to send diagnostic data into their servers. So improved typing and inking, I'd click no. Got tailored, I click no. So I click no, then no. And I'm gonna skip this part right here. And then use your phone to respond. So Windows 11 allows you to sync your phone and your computer. If you want that option, then you can follow this instruction, but I usually just click skip on this part. I don't want to sync my phone to my computer anyways. So it's also going to give you an option to import the data from your Microsoft Edge or from your other browser. But since this is like a setup for a new machine, so I'm just going to click that now and click next. Alright, so it's going to give you an option if you want to purchase the Microsoft Office 365 or subscribe to it, and you can continue, but I decline this offer, so I click decline. I also decline for OneDrive. Another subscription here that Microsoft is selling for games, so I'm just going to skip this part. Yeah, Windows 11 is like more of like a mobile version, a PC version of a mobile. So once you see this messages right here, that means that it's just finalizing the setup, and then once it's ready, it should be good to go. Alright, so we're done with the installation for Windows 11 operating system to the virtual machine. So this is all ready. It has all the functionalities of Windows 11. You can play around with whatever you want on this computer. It's a computer inside your computer, so it has its own environment in there, so you can just literally play around with it, and if you messed it up, you can just delete it or just rebuild it. So basically that's all, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like more contents like this, please consider subscribing to my channel, and again, thank you so much. You have a wonderful day. Bye.